Hello and welcome to this video on leading by good example. Hopefully if you're following along with this series you'll be starting to see that actually a lot of the things that we're talking about are fairly common sense things, and it does make sense that I'm talking about them in respect to leadership. Leading by good example is something that I hope would be fairly obvious. You want to set the example for your team so that they start A, respecting you, but B, also aspiring to behave in the way that you behave. So, think about a time that you've spent a lot of time with a specific person, either a co-worker, family member or a friend. How many times have you caught yourself after a little while thinking, so-and-so always does that and I've started doing that? For example, the manager that I had when I started delivering these courses, who I actually delivered the courses with, had a way of saying to people as she was training, she would pause, look around the room and say, do you see what I mean? To give people a little bit of extra time to think about what she was talking about and processing, and to make them reflect on whether they were understanding or not. Very, very quickly after spending a lot of time with her and delivering the courses with her, I started to do the same thing. Now this was twofold. For a start, this just goes to show that her positive role model behaviour was rubbing off on me, but also it provided us with the perfect example to use in the leading by good example section of the course, because the course members that I was talking to, the learners, would have actually seen and heard her do that. I could then reflect on how that positive behaviour was rubbing off on me. Now my example isn't negative, it's actually a positive thing because it was beneficial for the course and it helped me develop as a leader and as a trainer. But people are always watching everything you do, and no matter how hard you try, it will always be the negative things that people notice. The things that you don't like in yourself are going to be the things that you start to see other people mirroring. And that's why this is quite hard, because when you're leading by good example, you need to make sure that you are demonstrating those positive behaviours that you want people to see, but not the negative behaviours that you don't want them to see or copy. The very, very basic way to explain leading by good example is monkey see, monkey do. People will copy. It's just in our nature. There is nothing we can do about it, regardless of whether you intend it or not. People are going to copy those behaviours. If you spend any amount of time with people, and this is particularly true obviously if you're working with a team of people regularly, either virtually or face to face, you are going to start to pick up little things from other people. You might develop, little sayings or inside jokes and things like that, but you might also start to pick up phrases and mannerisms from other people that you suddenly realise, oh, I've just done that thing that John does all the time. So you will start to do that naturally without even thinking about it. So as a leader, it's really, really important that we think about the example that we are portraying to the people around us. Now, the main thing to think about with role model behaviour and monkey see, monkey do is that we need to make sure that we are not hypocritical, because that is the worst thing that we can do. If we start challenging somebody, and we will look at challenging poor behaviour in another video, for a behaviour that we don't like, but it is something that we do in ourselves, then we're being hypocritical. And we'll look at the 4 important steps in a second, but we need to make sure that we are not being hypocritical. Now normally in these training sessions I would show a video which is actually from an Australian university. It is actually in respect to domestic violence. I will post the link in the comments for this video, but as a bit of a trigger warning, if you are not comfortable with watching scenes of children smoking, littering, being physically or racially abusive, then don't watch this video, because that is how the video basically demonstrates monkey see, monkey do. So it is a very good video to demonstrate how role model behaviour works, but it is quite a sensitive topic, and I am aware that that could be upsetting for a lot of people, so please just take that in mind before you actually watch the video. So we now understand that we want to act in the way in which we expect the people around us to act. We're not going to be hypocritical. For example, if we expect our team to come into the office in formal office attire, we're not going to turn up every day wearing jeans, because that is hypocritical and it will just demotivate people. People will say, why am I expected to do this if he or she isn't going to do that as well? We need to be modelling the behaviour that we want people to portray. We can't ask them to do something that we're not prepared to do ourselves. It's like telling somebody that they have to quit smoking whilst standing at the bus stop with them smoking. You can't justify telling somebody that that's what they have to do. So we have to avoid being critical. We need to be aware that everything we do, the positive and more likely the negative behaviours, are going to be seen by the people around us, and we need to be conscious of that, because no matter how much we try, people are going to pick up the behaviours that they see us modelling. So just remember, we're going to lead by good example, we're going to do the positive things we want people to emulate, but we're not going to do the negative things that we dislike, and we're going to avoid being hypocritical. If you have any questions about leading by good example, then please ask below. Otherwise, I'll see you for the next video.